conversation went in the Star Wars boardroom when they were creating Return of the Jedi. Man, we really need something to guard Jabba. I know. How about a pig? We could make it a green pig. We could make it a humanoid green pig. And let's give him an axe. Mr. X with the Extreme Channel. Today we are looking at a custom 1/4 scale Gamorrean guard from Star Wars. Pretty damn big box. We're going to unbox it, we're going to review it. Must be Italian. So here's the art box, guys. It is one of 50 because it's a custom, a private commission. As usual with customs, I can't say where they come from. But we're going to unbox this boy and put him together. All assembled and ready to go. Now, I'm a little bit nervous to review this guy, frankly, because the custom company I got this from, I've only had one other piece, and it didn't meet my expectations. You can check out the review of this Michael Myers statue right here. There was definitely some good stuff about it, but some stuff that just, I wasn't digging. This is my second piece from the company, and I actually have a third piece arriving. Also a Star Wars piece is this Princess Leia Bounty Hunter right here. Should come in the next few months. But let's get focused on this guy. So officially, this is 1/4 scale, meaning he's 4 times smaller than what he would be in real life. Custom, meaning private commission, they only made 50 of them. Gamorrean Guard from Star Wars. Gamorrean Guard is a creature from Star Wars that first appeared in The Last Jedi. I love messing with Star Wars dick riders. You know, I hate doing Star Wars videos because they are probably some of my most thumbed down videos because I may say a fact that's slightly wrong or completely wrong, or I may state an opinion that doesn't line up with what the truth of the Star Wars reality is for some of those Star Wars dick riders. And if you're wondering, is he calling me a Star Wars dick rider? Probably am. But let's jump into this guy, and before we do, let me tell you, if you want to win some free stuff, stay tuned to the end because we are actually giving away these 2 Venom statues. So all the details for that will be at the end of the video. But we're going to look at him close. You're going to see some close-ups at the beginning, at the end, and we're going to use what I call the extreme scale. It's a 1 through 5, T through X scale ranking where 1 is trash or horrible and X is extreme or the absolute best. And we're going to look at a number of different categories, 5 different categories with him, and then the overall aspect of the statue. And I don't know how I'm feeling right now. Kind of a precursor. Cost on him was $700, $695. I don't even remember how much shipping was, but it was relatively cheap for such a huge box. So I don't know if this comes from overseas or not. I would assume so, but maybe I'm completely wrong. Now, let me get a tape measure. Where's my tape measure? Oh, it's in the bedroom. Hang on for a sec. All right, got the tape measure. So as I measure him, the reason why I purchased him is I've always wanted a Gamorrean Guard. He's about 15 inches wide and 14 inches deep, and with this pillar, which is actually a switch out we're going to talk about, he's 22 inches tall. The guard himself is 18 inches tall. So let me see how tall he would be without the pillar. Right about 19.5 inches. So I wanted a Gamorrean Guard because, as you saw, this is Star Wars Episode 20, meaning it is the 20th episode on my YouTube channel of a Star Wars related product. And I have quite a few that are statues, and I even have some stuff that's not a statue. Like, check this out right here. It's just autographed Star Wars memorabilia. However, the only Gamorrean guard I was familiar with, and I know there's a few other ones, but was the Sideshow Mythos line right here, which is fantastic looking. It's amazing. The problem is that it's 1/4 scale and it goes for an outrageous price. It goes for about twice what this is. So for those two reasons, I was out. While this was going up for PO, they do a ton of Star Wars pieces. I was really excited to get in on it. And now that he's here, my first impressions, he's massive. I don't know if his scale is accurate, but we'll talk about that during design. We'll also show some side-by-side comparisons of other 1/4 scale pictures. Very cool. And this group is actually toying with the idea of doing a 1/4 scale Jabba. Now I have the 1/6 scale by Sideshow. Check out the review right here. But a 1/4 scale, I think they estimate it'll be 40 inches long. Wow, 40 inches long? How can a guy compete with that? So he's still going to go next to my 1/6 Jabba the Hutt, you know, not right next to him because he's a little overpowering due to his size. That's what she said. But a little bit down the row a little bit. Let's dive into the review starting with concept on this piece. When we talk about concept, we say, is it movie accurate? Does it look neat? Does it flow well? And I think that this has a lot of pros going for this. So first of all, as I said in the beginning, a Gamorrean guard is just a creature that George Lucas or whoever thought up. Kind of a green pig, and I always wondered, you know, Gamorrean, and then you have Gamora. Is that related? I mean, they look like a cute couple, don't you think? Both green skin, both aliens? Probably not. That probably pissed off some Star Wars people too. But, so I assume he's from a planet called Gamoria, and he's hanging out in Tatooine, which is Luke's kind of hometown. He wasn't really born there. You know, an interesting fact, kind of a side note here, but I always wondered, they wanted to hide Luke and Leia from Darth Vader when they were born. So they put him on Tatooine, and they let him keep his last name. What the hell? Let's hide him so they can't find him, but we'll keep his last name. So the base here, it very much looks like it's Jabba's palace. That has the sand colors, has a few symbols on the bottom, has a few different switch outs you're going to see during design that you can actually change up, but they're all related to Jabba's palace or Tatooine. And he's standing there in what we call a museum pose, kind of like he's posing for a picture. Very badass, he looks like a disgruntled worker kind of. But they got the costume, I don't know if it's 100% accurate, but it looks like to me, like I said, you Star Wars Dick Riders can let me know if there's one feather that's off. You can tell how much I love you guys. And he has a number of different switch outs, but they're all weapons, all menacing. This big pillar in the back, maybe that's the entrance to the Rancor cage. That could be what that symbolizes. A few little Easter eggs on the base we'll see when we look at close-ups. But I like it. I do. I think it's a good concept. I think it matches the movie. I think that some of the stuff we're going to talk about next with design may not make a lot of sense, but this makes sense. It's a Gamorrean guard, and I think he'll look great with any Star Wars collection. So I think on the concept, we're going to go ahead and give it a W or a 4 out of 5. It's a rail. If you're going to do a Gamorrean guard, this is exactly what you want to do. Now with design, we talk about displayability, switch outs, things of that nature. A few quick things. Number one, it did come with a nameplate, which is optional. I like that. I don't use the nameplates, so the fact that it's optional is a big thing to me. It also comes with a COA, our Certificate of Authenticity. I'm not going to show you close-ups. Let's talk about the different switch outs with him really quick, because there are a lot. First, the right hand, he can be holding this spear/staff. Or you can switch it out for an axe. His left hand, you can have the axe, kind of a hard angle here. A fist, or holding some wires or rope. Maybe he's going to get the Rancor, maybe he's going to tie up a prisoner, who knows. And that's not all the switch outs. On the base, you have this creature on the front of it. Star Wars purists, let me know the name of this creature. And if you don't like the creature, you can actually switch this out for a skull. Very cool option. And here's that big pillar we were talking about. If you don't like this, or if it just makes it a little bit too tall for you, there is a switch out rock. Great, great option. Now one piece, I didn't know what it goes to, but it's this wire. It was right next to this in the box, so I'm not sure what the intention of this little guy was. Interesting. So a lot of switch out options. There are no switch out head options, which in my opinion is a little bit of a miss. Maybe him with a growling portrait, or one where he just doesn't look like that old fart at work that's not very happy. I would have paid more gladly for that, or given up some of the other switch outs for that. The base is way too big. I know he's a big character, and in a second we're going to put him next to some other ones, but I think the base is just way too big. I think they could have cut it down on the sides, made it maybe more circular. The fact that I hate square bases because they take up so much room, so I think that's a disadvantage. The picture of him next to XM Studios Boba Fett. And you can actually check out the review on this guy right here. And just for good taste, because they're in the same movie together, is Kylo Ren, Sideshow Premium Format, next to this guy. Again, just messing with you Star Wars people. I want to emphasize again, I am a Star Wars guy, especially, you know, with my grandfather and all that. Some pros and cons. They use mixed media, which means they use a fabric material for his dress here. I like that a lot, actually, and I'm not a big mixed media fan. It's the only place that they can do that, or that they do that. The magnets are all extremely strong. Everything fit in really well. There are no seam line issues. Very smart engineering where the arm switch outs are. The hand switch outs are where the cuffs. You don't see any seam lines. Maybe they were worried about that with a portrait a little bit. So really the big disadvantages are, I think that you didn't do an extra head portrait and that the base is so big, but there were a lot of pros, to be honest with you. So I think I got to give the design a W as well. A 4 out of 5 on the design. Very impressed. Next two categories are what we call paint and sculpt. And we'll talk about both of them simultaneously, kind of looking at different parts of the statue going from the bottom to the top. And then at the end, we'll grade them both. Let's look at this base here. And one of the things you're going to see everywhere in this statue is I think the paint leaves a lot to be desired. So right here, I'm not digging this paint color. Is it supposed to be sandy? Is it supposed to be not? On the sides, they added some orange and that yellow. Reminds me of like a 1970s house, the bathroom a little bit. Not a big fan of the colors they chose for this. I know it's supposed to be Jabba's palace, but it doesn't look at it. Take a look at this symbol or drain right in the middle. The paint was really badly done on this. You can see where the yellow is leaching up onto that copper or silver. They did a horrible job painting this. Let's look at this creature in the front. Same thing. I think there's a lot of opportunities, especially around the teeth. The paint's not very clean. And the colors on it are a little bit boring. But he looks okay. And back to the base really quick. Here's some more shots. I think it could have used a lot more texture. It's supposed to symbolize a rock or sandy floor. So the sculpt, some opportunity in the detail in that. Check out the pillar. I do like how the rocks are broken up. I'm actually liking this pillar a lot more that I look at it. I will definitely display it with, find a spot where the height isn't an issue. I think they could have used a little bit more detail on the rocks. Same thing with the control panel. It looks a little toyish. And I don't know if that's the paint or the sculpt application. The base is the weakest part of the statue by far. Here's a quick close-up of that switch out skull in the front. This I really like. I like the sculpt on it. I like the paint. I like it more than the creature as far as sculpt and paint, but I think the creature is a little bit better concept. And here's that little Easter egg in the back, kind of this totem head. There's these coppers and blues on it. That looks really good as well. Then with the guard, we're going to start at his feet, which again is his weakest point. There's some sculpt and paint issues with his toes, where it mixes into the sandal. And in between the toes, it's not a very clean print. Not a fan of that. But as we do move up, it does get a lot better. So I like the sandals on him. They could have used a little bit more shadowing and wear, I think. But otherwise, it looks all right. And as you're looking at his skin, I think the anatomy is done very well on the Gamorrean guard. It's very accurate. But the skin is a little too Shrek-y for me. Looks like he's related to Shrek, especially under some bright lights. Take a look at his skirt here. As I said, the fur is great. Great material choice for this. Here's his sculpted shirt and the belt. I like the folds in it. There's some shadowing they added into the paint. It looks good. Not great, but it looks good. Check out his armor. So his shoulder pads and then his gauntlets on his arms have some of that fading color like that totem head pole did, but a different, it's more gray. Here's his arms. You can see the anatomy on him. Like I said, the anatomy's good. I think maybe a little bit darker gray or some more shades in there. On the elbows, you do see yellow elbows, which look out of place because you don't see that anywhere else, and it's almost too yellow. But at least it's a variation. Check out his weapons. His weapons look nice. I really like these. Not the spears, the axes. Hard to decide what I'm going to display him with. Check out his hands. I think they did a nice job on his hands as far as the sculpt, a lot better than his feet. The color is the exception, like I talked about, too Shrekky. Here's his helmet. You can kind of see the sides of it. A lot of different things going on here. Some metallic sides and top with this design in there. I really like that. Then on the back it's this black, brown with black shading on it. Kind of this hood down below it where the sculpt could be a little bit better where it connects. But this is where I think it wouldn't have been a big deal to do a switch out. So let's look at his portrait. I think what's really bothering me about his portrait is he's a little cross-eyed, but I think he was in the movie too. So if they did that purposefully, I think that's all right. I like a lot of what they did around the snout with the color. They added a tiny bit of a moist effect, but not too much, and the coloring is really good. Under certain lights, his skin looks like it has this, you know, kind of reptilian type skin. I think that was smart. The sculpt around his eyes and his expression, they did a nice job. His horns and teeth look good. I like the coloring choice they used on those. Not just white, but it's almost like this copperish white, but it's almost like this copperish white. So a lot of pros and cons with this guy. Let's start with the paint. Realistically, I think the paint is ugly. It's a 2 out of 5. They should have went darker or added more shading into the Gamorrean skin. The base is this piss yellow color. Big miss on the paint on those. The sculpt, kind of hard to say. It's definitely between a U and a V for very nice, a 2 and a 3. There are certain parts that are a 2 and certain parts that are a 3, but I think overall I'm going to give it a V. It's very nice for the sculpt. Some things I would have improved I talked about in the base, the feet, his portrait, a few minor tweaks. Last category we talk about is value. Value for this guy. Well, the 1/5 Sideshow Gamorrean Guard goes for about $1,500 nowadays, if you're lucky. That's smaller than this. I don't think it has as many switch outs, and there's a lot more of them. There's only 50 of these. As far as I know, it's the only 1/4 scale Gamorrean Guard. Tons of switch outs, tons of, you know, not only with the character but with the base. Some really good things, some things that need improvement. $795 or $695. I think the value is a W. I think it's a good value on this piece, especially for a custom statue. Also, the fact that it's pure Star Wars from Return of the Jedi. It's not the Mythos line, so it's more movie accurate. So overall, where do I rate this piece? Some highs and lows. I think overall, this is a very nice piece. I think it's a 3 out of 5. I'm surprised there's not more Gamorrean Guard options because realistically, a character like this is kind of like Boba Fett, which he has even a smaller part than Boba Fett, but people really like him and they didn't expect that. They don't know which characters are going to be popular and which ones weren't. So I'm surprised there's not more options or more options coming. There probably are, but very happy to have him in my collection. Let me know your thoughts of this piece. Let me know your favorite Star Wars statue out there. And then also, just so you guys know, if you want to get entered in to win those Venom statues, this is what you need to do. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you have not already and that bell notification. We are on track to 10,000 subs. Depending on when you watch this, it should be in the next month or two, or if you're watching this the day before, we'll be good. We're going to do a video when that happens, so comment below what your favorite Star Wars statue is. Make sure you're subscribed and make sure to hit the like on this video to get that contest rolling. But until tomorrow, guys, I have a weird ass thing video dropping tomorrow. A weird ass video dropping tomorrow. And then the next day is a video I am so ecstatic about. Unless you're watching this in the future, then you have no idea what I'm talking about. Thanks for watching. Talk to you tomorrow. Take care.